Hi everybody. So excited to be a part of this forum and this group. I'm personally extremely passionate about women. Being on the not just in the organization but being in the big roles in a company. So I'm really happy to be able to share whatever I know. So I have about 2 decades of experience in various industries, predominantly in the tech marketing space. So I have been a business to business marketer, and most of my career has been, there. But I did a small stint being a restaurateur for about 2 years. It's very small, but a great learning of my life. And so I started my career in Dell Computers right out of college. Extremely excited. I aspired to be a salesperson. Don't ask me why, I don't remember now. But I always thought that was going to be my career path, and that's where I was going to move forward. Somebody actually did recognize that I would be a better marketer right in my first job, but it didn't materialize at that point. So after Dell, I moved on to Akamai Technologies. Akamai had just entered India at that point, and my job was really to manage customers. So it was a sales role again. It was a really tough technology to sell, and I spent a good 10 years of my life there at Akamai, um, doing various roles. Akamai was really like I would say, my life's education. Um, that's the company that taught me how to live in a corporate world. How do you manage people? That my first managerial experience was in that company. um, how do you market tech? Everything that I learned in my life, I think most of it I got it out of the school of Akamai, I would say. It was a lovely, wonderful experiences. I made friends for life. I think I probably did about 4 or 5 roles in that 10 years, and I finally ended my career being a marketer for India. Following that, I took a break for 2 years from corporate and started a restaurant, not knowing anything about being a restaurateur. Don't have anybody in my family that actually runs a restaurant or even has like any affinity to run a restaurant, but I did it. I remember sitting in the empty shell of my restaurant before it was done up and wondering what am I doing with my life. But it was exciting. I learned how to set up an industrial kitchen, how what it requires to get licenses to run a restaurant in India, in Bangalore. All the different things that is required to actually make this operational. Again, wonderful experience, extremely tough, extremely challenging for a single woman to do it, but what an experience it was. Like, it was so grounding. um, Post that, I joined a company called LogMeIn, again another tech company. LogMeIn was about 2 years old in India, but they didn't really have too much of a presence in India. My job was really to bring that presence in India, and I'm so proud of what we have achieved so far. We hardly have a handful of customers when I joined, and today we have over 6,000 customers in India. So super proud of what we have achieved as a team at LogMeIn, and that's sort of the gist of my entire career. So predominantly in B2B marketing and a small little stint being a restaurant. I think what really kept me going was that I really looked at life as a lesson. I did never stop learning. I always thought that every experience of mine was going to be a learning for me, right? So um, Dell was a great learning right out of college. Akamai was a beautiful learning of really being in corporate, and and the restaurant was another big learning. Um, I am a family of all women. I lost my dad when I was 10, and it was my mom and my two younger sisters. So we were all women family. So I really saw my mom really struggle to bring us up. So when I was 10, I think I had a streak of independence in me. And I sort of built in my mind that if I have to do something, I have to do it myself. And I think that is my inner drive that keeps me going. So I take full responsibility of my life. ups, downs, failure, wins, everything is mine, right? Because you don't blame anybody if you fail, and you pat on your back if you win. So I take full responsibility of that, and I said, you know, I have to keep going. So I have to make choices, and I have to keep going, and that's what I did. That was my driver. I didn't want to depend on anybody, and I think it's been a fabulous journey so far. So that's what's really kept me going. So yes, this has been 2020 has been a very interesting year for us. From a trends perspective, what I would say is that post pandemic, working from home was really not something that even me as a manager, I was not very comfortable with my team working forever from home, right? Like I wouldn't mind them working once in a while, but always working from home was really not a thing. But today, I think I have come to the conclusion, and I think so is the rest of the industry, that you can work from anywhere. It doesn't really matter, whether you need to come to a particular office to work. You can actually do work from anywhere. And sometimes you've read in good books that you need to trust your team to do it. Actually, in reality, that was tested in 2020. And people are all really smart. A good percentage of people actually, when left alone, do really good work. I've been very blessed that my team has been rock stars during 2020 and on, and they've really been working, very hard. And there's no difference from them being in the office or working from home. So I think that is number one. The other, I think, big trend that you will start seeing is that engagement or collaboration is going to become very critical, because people are sort of stuck at home with their families. I think we will see people actually coming together to collaborate, maybe meet once or twice a month to do like team outings or building kind of activities. So these collaboration activities are going to be pretty interesting going forward, and I think that will be another big trend that I will see. The other big trend that I would see is a hybrid workforce. You would see that earlier you would basically say that 100% or 90% of your workforce was going to the office. Now it could be, even when the pandemic is over and we've all got a vaccine, we are going to see at least only 30% of people actually wanting to go to the office, and the rest of the people choosing to work from home. A lot of companies are going to give that as an option, so you can work from your home, you don't have to come to the office. The investment will go away from real estate to actually building good home offices. It's also a good idea for good startups to think about how do you create work from home, the whole kit that you can actually sell to companies, because that will be a perk that companies will start giving to employees here. So if you're going to join us, here's your work from home kit, which consists of a camera, all the things that you will need to work from home, a good chair, maybe a stand-up, sit-down desk. So all the different things that you will need to work from home. So these are some of the trends that I'm seeing. From a marketing perspective, some of the trends that I'm seeing is, again, the whole physical activities in terms of marketing is going to go away. So when I say physical, I don't mean only events. I also mean even print and digital, print and hoardings, airport branding. So things of those sort will still, you'll start seeing the budgets of that shrink, and the budgets for digital actually going up. So as a marketer, when I look at my budgets, I will start spending more on doing more digital spend. From a personal perspective, I think this is the perfect time to add more skills onto your career. You're sitting at home, you have cut down on a lot of your travel time. This is a good time to start taking on courses which you can improve your skills. It's all about having the right skills now, and people are hiring for skill and attitude. So there are some really good courses available. So spend time on yourself, invest in yourself so that you can be in the present. So those would be some of the trends that I see, Razina. Yes, so basically, LogMe, in the company that I'm working with right now, is actually in a really good spot, right? Because that's what we did. So we enable work from anywhere, in the sense that you can be working from your home or from Goa or Rishikesh, wherever, whatever you choose to work from. We enable that work from anywhere. So you can work from anywhere, and LogMe will give you those technologies to support you to work from anywhere. So during the pandemic, we saw at least 1,000x influx of demand come in. So for us, it was a really good time, because a lot of people needed us, and we also gave back to the community. So we made all of our software free for 3 months for healthcare workers, schools, and government institutes. So we gave them all of our products. I think for 2 quarters we gave it free, so that they could use and go through the pandemic. So yes, we had a good year from a business perspective, but I guess it was also very tough for a lot of other people. As a woman individual contributor to a women manager to a women leader, I think the journey has been interesting, right? I started my early corporate career around the 2003-2005 time frame. At that particular point, women in the tech space was, at least in the business side, was limited. I remember going to conferences where the ratio of man to women was like 100:2. I've been in conferences where you are probably the third or fourth woman in that room. So I've seen that to what it is now. I feel like the transformation has been huge. It's because a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been stepping up to take that place. I wouldn't say that I've been lucky to work in really great companies that actually thought about diversity as a very important aspect. So they didn't really hire because of gender or anything like that, right? So my current organization have a good blend of female leaders at the top, and so did Akamai, and so did Dell. So I was very lucky to work in good organizations like that never stop. But when I look at the industry and I hear from my peers, I do hear, and it is a reality. And also another interesting study I recently read was that you'll see, if you go to engineering colleges, you will see plenty of women actually enrolled for engineering. They sort of drop out somewhere in their midpoint of their career, either because of family priorities, that they have children, they need to go and look after them, schooling, all of that comes. So somewhere in the middle of their career, they actually drop off. So what happens is that this big percentage of women that are actually passing out and starting their corporate careers, when they go up the ladder, you will actually see them drop off. It's not easy. I mean, I cannot say that it is actually easy. A lot of women actually try to balance the both. So for me individually, I would say I have just been a pusher. Like, I never let any glass ceiling stop me from growing. I never thought of myself as being a woman versus a man. When I hire for skill. I don't hire because you're a man or a woman. If you have the skill, it doesn't matter what you are. You can be a part of the team. So I don't look at the bias like that, right? I look at a good equal world, which is man and women equal, but and then you just move forward. So in my eyes, I never looked at like gender bias or being tough as a woman leader. I just pushed my way up. I kept performing. I kept pushing forward. I kept breaking all the so-called glass ceiling, and I kept moving forward. And that's the only way forward. Nobody's going to stop you. You really are responsible for your career, and let nobody else tell you otherwise. And if you want to really go become a leader, just move ahead. And it's a chicken and egg situation, because some people can't do it because they have family priorities, and they have to at some point stop their career or take a break, and when they come back they actually join at a lower position. So all of that is a reality. I'm not taking away from that, but if you can find a balance and keep moving forward, I think that's the way forward. So I think these were some of the things that I kept in mind, and I kept moving forward. It's been an interesting one, and I think I've been lucky that I have not really encountered too many issues on my way, and it's been an interesting journey. Sometimes I find that leaders really struggle that I need a woman in my team, or I need a man in my team. You know, having a woman in your team to increase diversity or whatever is, I think it's not the right way to go. I think you have to raise women and men in the same platter, not one over. You don't have to place women over the man. You just place them equal, and hire people because they have the skill. That's my advice for the leaders, not because you want a woman or a man on the team. For the young aspiring women out there, I would say don't let any gender stop you from anything. There's no job that a man can do versus a woman can do. If you have the skill, just go for it. So what I would have told to my younger self is, if you really want to get something, you have to just go get it. It doesn't matter if you're a man, if it's a man's job or a woman's job. There is no such thing. If you have the skill, you can do it. And I would just say, push forward and do it. Don't be afraid. Most of the time, we're afraid to speak up. We're afraid to ask the question. We're afraid to, what will the other person think? I think we should remove all those biases, all those things from our head. And that's what I would give the younger women out there. Find what you want to do. If you don't have the skill, go skill yourself and just go get it. Don't stop yourself because you're a man or a woman. Just go get it.